Tuhia ki te rangi, tuhia ki te whenua, tuhia ki te ngākau o ngā tangata, ko te mea nui, ko te aroha. Tihe mauri ora.
Rob Martin, it's a real honour to meet you, and it feels like a privilege to be able to capture your story. And as well as a privilege, it is an absolute heartbreak to me as a Kiwi to see my fellow Kiwi, going through what you're going through. Rob, can you tell me what you were like before you had the jab? Did you have any of the symptoms that we're seeing here, this shaking, and we'll go through the symptoms. Did you have any of these before you had the jab?
No, I was a pretty fit and healthy guy. Used to do a lot of work, helping people, and I was just a normal bloke. Yeah.
And you were strong and healthy. I've seen some photos of you.
Yes.
There's something else that's extremely special about you, and it's sitting right behind you, an example of it. You were a carver, weren't you?
Yes. I used to carve, but fortunately I can't use my arm much. So
And
at this stage,
detailed work.
yes. Yeah.
All right, so you had none of these symptoms, that's established. Secondly, were you an anti-vaxxer?
No, I'm not, and I never was. I just was pretty well pressured into it.
That's important. And the third question is, as we go into your story, were you a fan of Jacinda Ardern, or did you believe her and Bloomfield when they said it's safe and effective, this jab?
Not really.
Not really.
No, but in saying that, I my job was to help people, so it still is to help people out there.
What made you doubtful about her, Rob?
Just me. I just well, for me, I believe that it's just the rich getting richer. So that I'm sort of a standoff sort of person.
You would have waited. So that's my fourth question.
Yes.
If this had not been coerced, if you had not been pushed into this, if you could have kept your job without having the jab, would you have had this jab?
Yes, I wouldn't have taken it, but well, we were frontline workers, so in the end, it was either take it or no job.
And what was the work you were doing, Rob?
I used to do retinal screening.
Retinal screening?
Retinal screening, yeah.
So people who are having real eye problems?
Eye problems, yes.
How did that
diabetics.
feel? What did you love about that job?
I loved the interaction with surgeons, colleagues, GPs. Used to work all over the place, hospitals, get around and meet a lot of lovely people. And it was all about education for them, and how to stay healthy, and because everything else affects the eyes and diabetes and everything.
So you were working primarily with diabetes patients?
Yes.
How did that feel when you saw someone who was starting to lose their sight, take choices that were healthier like you do, and then get better eyesight? How did that feel for you?
Yeah, it's very inspiring and encouraging, because you see someone that's suffering, and all of a sudden the change in their lives become, it's not only the patient, it's their family, it's the whole whānau, holistic, it's the whole, I mean, if they come in and we help them, then it's a win-win for all.
Rob, you couldn't have introduced the whole subject of the jab more appropriately. That's what we want. We want the whole Kiwi whānau, all of us across this nation watching this interview, to now get behind you and do what you did for others, to do that for you. Because it's not right what you're going through, and it's not just, and it's not ethical, and it's not medical, and it's not for health. So let's talk about what happened. You had to have this jab. What date did you get the first jab?
I got my first jab on the 11th of May, 21.
Because the frontline workers were the first under attack, really. So you got that in May, and how did you feel at the time when you went to the clinic?
I didn't want it, but I was the last one in my team. So I felt a burden. And I felt a burden for my patients as well.
You really wanted to do it so you could be there for them?
For them, yeah.
Oh, Rob. And when you had it, when it went in, did you see any blood in the needle at all?
No.
You didn't?
No.
That's a good thing. They're meant to aspirate the needle to make sure there's no blood, to make sure it didn't go in a vein. And did you feel anything at the moment it went in, or how soon after did you feel something?
After the first shot, I felt just a sore arm. It was basically after my second shot, things started to change.
Were you tired after that first one?
I was a bit tired and had a few little migraines, but I just brushed it off because you're so busy. You just got to continue with your job.
And when was the second shot?
It was about the 19th of June.
Okay, so about a month later, a month and a bit later. And what happened then, Rob?
2 weeks after that, I started feeling, about a week and a half after that, I started feeling anxious. I started to back off from people because I started to feel afraid. I didn't know what was happening. And I had migraines as well, but I continued to carry on.
And how bad did those migraines get? We've been talking to people who get them terribly round the ears, the back of the head. Where were yours based?
Mine was just across the front and the sides.
Yeah. At that stage, were you getting the shaking?
No.
How soon did that come in, Rob?
This came in probably 6 months later, after my second.
After your second. So tell us what those 6 months were like between the shaking starting. What other symptoms did you have?
Well, it was just mainly migraines and I had a sore back in there, but I just carried on working.
But was it feeling different to you working now? Was it feeling not as rewarding? You were more anxious?
Yes. Yes, I was a bit more fearful of people, but I was okay to carry on my duty because it was only face-to-face with patient contact.
But are you saying that the Rob now felt very different from the Rob before the jab?
Oh, yeah, for sure, yes.
Tell me more of that. How? How did you feel different?
How do I feel now?
No, tell me more of how you felt at this point compared with how you'd felt previously. We're talking just after that June jab.
Okay. Yeah, it was only a few little changes, like I mentioned, just the migraines and my back and my fear, anxiety. I was just, I don't know, it just started coming over me. Every time I went into meetings and then I just started anxious. I was just fearful.
And you hadn't been like that before, Rob?
Never.
No. That's a really important symptom. People are talking about this as part of the jab symptoms coming up. All right, when did the shaking and the physical tics come to you?
When I had a stroke, which was before Christmas, early December.
And what happened there? Did you have that in the night, or was it during the day? What happened?
It was during the day. I actually went into one of my appointments because I had ear trouble. I had blocked ears, so the doctor there started doing his treatment, and then he noticed my left side wouldn't move. So he asked, "Hey, what's wrong with your left side?" I said, "Well, I don't know." So he rang the ambulance and done some tests, and I ended up in the hospital.
Oh.
So I'm glad I went there, otherwise I'd probably carry on without realising.
And how soon after that stroke did this shaking, this quite violent level of shaking in front of me?
A few days. It happened when I was in hospital.
What were you feeling in hospital? What was your brain feeling like? Were you still getting the headaches, or was it feeling different now?
I was still getting the headaches and blurred vision and I just I don't know, my body just went off. I tried to, in my mind, stop it or realise when does it go off or what happens, but it just went off in front of the doctors.
And Rob, what was the upshot through Christmas? Were you in hospital all through Christmas?
Yes, yeah. I stayed in for 4 days for the stroke, and then I come home, and then I went back in Christmas Day.
What were they like to you in hospital? Did they honour the injuries, or did they try to play them down?
They were, to be honest, just doing what they could. But yeah, I mentioned the V word and all that to them, but yeah, there's no relation to it.
That's what they told you?
Yes.
They said it's no relation to the vaccine?
Yes.
My God. And you were saying, I know this happened because of the vaccine?
Yeah.
So many Kiwis are telling us this story. How does that feel, Rob, when you know the truth and you're trying to communicate it and you're unwell? How did that feel for you?
Yeah, it broke my heart. I felt unwanted, neglected. But I understand, in my head, I understand where they come from because they're all got families to live for too.
But Rob, that's a really important thing, if you don't mind. Is this too much? You tell me if it's too much.
No.
Unwanted and neglected is what I'm hearing from so many Kiwis who did what this Prime Minister asked and have suffered. And that's what so many Kiwis have felt, unwanted and neglected. And for Māori, it has a particular resonance, doesn't it? Because of colonisation, because of what's gone on in the history of this land. How did you cope with that, Rob? You're feeling sick, you're now shaking, you've had a stroke. All of this because you want to help others, and yet they are not helping you. How did you feel?
I felt, to be honest, let down because our people have always been put in the back. That's why I feel our people are naming us for this, that, you know, we're Māori are the biggest and this and that, come with diabetes and all that sort of stuff. So we're always named and tagged as lesser than or.
You are our brothers, you are our sisters, yes. And this Prime Minister puts on the cloak and puts on all the externals and yes. speaks words, but where is her heart, and why did she go after our Māori, our tangata whenua? She really focused her campaigns on
yes.
you. Do you feel angry as well, Rob?
Oh yeah, a lot of thoughts going through my mind because working with diabetes a few years back, the biggest stats in New Zealand were Māori Pacific. Absolutely. But when we done our stats, it was actually, we were overtaken by, I hate to say it, but I have to say it, by Asian and Pacific diabetes.
And they're always trumpeting Māori, Māori, Māori.
Yes.
And the thing is, she pretends to be an ally of Māori. And do you think she is an ally of Māori, this Prime Minister?
No way. She's still hunting us down. That's just talking the truth.
This is what this is. This is where media has to go, to the truth. Yeah. While we're talking about media, what do you feel about our New Zealand media?
Yeah, they're rubbish too. They're fake. The truth is not out there. You put stuff out there and it's all changed. But I guess that's their role. I call it perversion. So you can say one thing, but they can twist it.
Absolutely.
That's their job.
Oh boy, I know that one well. And Māori know that one well.
Yes.
So have you tried to contact any mainstream media and say, I've got this injury, or did you just give up? You thought, I'll never get a fair hearing?
I've messaged the PM in one of her talks, told her to come and visit me in hospital, and I'd done a bit of a write-up, but yeah, nothing.
You didn't hear anything. Well, this is your chance, Rob. You're a very powerful speaker. You know, you said you have that anger, that grief. Could you look down the camera? I ask a lot of people to do this and pretend that she is there where the camera is. See right where that lens is? If you look down there and you speak to her as if she's in the room, Jacinda, listen.
Hey, Jacinda, I stand today. The shirt says man up to tangata. Tu tangata means to stand. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm not only doing this for me, I'm doing this for our nation. There are so many people suffering, even dying from this rubbish that you're forcing us into. Is it about power? Is it about money? Coercing people. Even our health system are being shut down or silenced. So a message to you is it's coming. People are starting to stand up and rise. People are starting to tangata, to stand up. And it's time for us to fight the bully. So it's only a matter of time. Yeah, thank you.
Very powerful. But I want you to add one thing. She has particularly gone after Māori, and that has really made my heart ache. So something for your people, either in te reo or English or both, if you want to say something.
Just like to mihi to our whānaus. As we know, from our tupuna, we have the rongoa, we have the places where we can go back home to heal. But this is a stand for us as a nation, as a people. It's time for us to rise as well and stand for our tupuna, our forefathers, my uncles and aunties that have fought for the rights of our people. Whina kupa, all of our tupuna. My grandmother's brothers fought in the wars for this freedom. Where are we now, whānau? There is no freedom. So it's time for us to stand as well. Kia ora.
Kia ora tu tangata. That is just so powerful. I'll tell you something, Rob. In World War II, my father was in Egypt, and do you know who his heroes were? Do you know what kept him going when the going was really tough? It was the Māori battalion.
Wow.
When those boys came in, he just so looked up to our Māori brothers. I have seen this Prime Minister use three waters to try to divide this nation from our Māori, and we know that she's only picking off certain members of each iwi, paying them out, that it's not what most Māori want. And I absolutely speak up every time any Pākehā says, oh, the Māori are going after everything. It is not the truth. It's the way this Prime Minister has twisted. We need to stand with our brothers and our sisters. So, Rob, how's it been since Christmas? I see that you have quite a lot of sweating happening. What do you think is causing that?
It's been going on for months.
Months.
Well, since I had my stroke. Well, that's only a month and a half, I think, something like that.
And that's because of possibly all this movement. Are you moving like we're seeing you today? Are you moving like this all day, every day, or do you have moments at stills?
Hardly ever a still moment.
What's it like when you sleep, Rob?
I'm not quite sure, because I don't know if I'm shaking while I'm sleeping. I have they've given me that triangle big pillow to sit up on because I can't lie down properly. Because if I do, I can't breathe. So water fills the lungs.
Water fills the lungs?
That's what I've been told. So I've got to stay elevated, stay upright and sleep. Try and sleep anyway.
What does it feel like inside your body, Rob? Can you share this?
Feels like crap. It feels like a lot of pain, frustration. It hurts. I'm looking at you now and I feel like electric shocks. That's why I went in yesterday, but they sent me home.
You went in because of the heart issues yesterday?
Yeah, because it feels like little shocks all over my chest.
And what was it like? How gentle? Were they gentle? Were they kind? What were they like, Rob?
It's just you another number.
No.
Just being honest. Another number. But they are trying their best. I know. Even the guy that was treating me, I know he's trying his best, but they're only running off their tests. Quick tests and then go home.
How could they let somebody go home who's in this state? Would he acknowledge the jab? Did he acknowledge it?
No.
So there's this uniform denial in our hospitals that it's caused by this jab.
Well, they see all this happening and they ask, is this normal?
And you say no.
What do you think normal is? You think, oh, well, I'm not normal. This is just reaction.
And on your discharge papers, did you get your discharge papers?
Yes.
Do they acknowledge anything to do with the jab?
No.
I'd really like the names of the doctors who are seeing you and denying this. We're making a role of dishonour, and these doctors will be called to account when this government is out. They will absolutely have to answer to people like you and hear how this felt. So was that feeling again, Rob? What was it like yesterday when they don't acknowledge you?
Oh, I was really, really angry, as any human would.
Absolutely.
Because that was my rights. They're standing on my rights.
What treatment did they give you for those heart pains?
Same pills, just medication and go home. Yeah.
Do any of them help? Any of the pills help?
No, I've told them they don't help. They normally give me morphine and that softens and releases the heaviness. It's like walking around with a steel plate on your chest.
Oh, Rob, so you've got, have they diagnosed myocarditis or pericarditis?
No.
Have they done any tests?
They've done angiograms and all that, and they come out okay. I've seen them, but I'm waiting for MRI on the heart.
And when is that booked for?
We're not sure. We're still waiting. I tried to push it yesterday. I tried to push for other tests yesterday, but waiting list, outpatient.
That is just appalling that you're not being prioritised. It's as if all these good Kiwis who've done what this woman asks are being totally ignored once things go wrong. Is that your feeling as well?
Of course, yeah.
Have you had any help beyond the medical people? Have you had any rongoai Māori or any other?
Yes, I'm trying some rongo at this moment, but I'm on too many stuff, too much medications and that, so I'm not quite sure. I'm a bit confused.
Yes.
Too much going on.
Rob, what about your boss at work, the one who encouraged you, pushed you to get this jab? Because there are now lawyers saying it's the bosses who will be held liable for pushing employees to get this jab. What's your boss been like through all of this?
My boss is very supportive. She, to be honest, she's really ringing me every 2 days to see how I'm going with the family. She's supporting with food and that, but yeah, she is really supportive. But in that role, we have to, or they have to, or whoever has to obey the orders from above, I suppose.
Why do you suppose that? I don't think any of us have to obey wrong orders in life.
Yes,
I think we answer to a higher power, ultimately. Yeah. And if I sense that somebody giving me orders is corrupt, I will not obey those orders. So I'd say to her and everyone, stop obeying wrong orders.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Rod?
Yeah, I agree. But I see that they also have families and everything else to support themselves. I know it's wrong, but people are suffering, but they still need to live too. That's how I see it. I'm different.
You're a compassionate man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rob, what would you love if you could have your choice of anything? What would it be now? Would it be to be folded into that mainstream medical system and really honoured and looked after, or would you like alternative healers who might be able to come and give help, or would that overwhelm you? What would be your ideal?
I say for me, anything that'll help, anything that'll bring my life back to normality. I can walk with an aid, but I take about 10 steps and then it takes me over an hour to overcome that. So I can go for a walk with my stick, and then I have to lie down for about 2 hours just to get over that walk.
Do you mind me asking how old you are, Rob?
I'm 51.
51?
Yeah.
And how many children?
I have 4 beautiful daughters.
From what ages?
From 23 down to 11.
How's your 11-year-old coping seeing her dad like this?
None of them are. They see me 24/7. I try and hide. I try and be brave in front of them. I hide, but they know I'm hiding, so they come in and support me. But it's heartbreaking, even for my wife. Yeah. It's not an easy walk.
How could we help you? How could Kiwis help you, Rod? What would you like? We can certainly give you money so that you can have treatments. And I'm sure that people will reach out, and so that you're not overwhelmed, we could put a specific email address where people can send offers of help, and then we can feed that back to you. We'll do that with this recording. Would money be a help right now? How are you managing financially?
Well, we're not at the moment. I got half a pay next week, and that's my last. So I've got to try and push, get on to WINS and try and get something. I don't want to go back to WINS because I don't want WINS because really I'm not into the handouts, but I feel that it's their time to pay back.
Absolutely.
And the doctors have put me off and put me on sickness, they say, but I'm chasing up sickness. So really, we've already spoken, me and my family. I said to my family that we may have to just give all our stuff away and live in our car and our van. Just reality.
No way, Rob. We will not let that happen in New Zealand. We will not let that happen.
But that's reality.
No, it's not the reality I see for you. We are going to ask Kiwis to give money into the account. We need your account for the end of this. But beyond that, we all need to send this video to this Prime Minister and this sorry, awful government who would allow this to happen. There is no way we will let that happen, Rob. No way. You're one of us. She should be so ashamed.
Yeah, I've never been one for handouts.
So you've got all that worry about money. You've got worry about your health. You've got worry about your kids.
Yeah.
How are you keeping going?
With man upstairs, that's all I've got. I listened to my man that taught me how to stand, Apostle Brian Tamaki. And that's how we're surviving, through our faith. It's all we have.
Are the church people coming around you and supporting you?
They are, yes, they are. Massive support, all love.
How does that feel compared with the way the government's treating you?
Oh man, we're in different walks of life. It's so much love. Whereas I feel neglected from the government.
Where do you whakapapa back to? What's your lineage?
Whakapapa back to Tūhoi, my mum, and Ngāpui, Maniapoto.
Beautiful Tūhoi people.
Yes.
Brave Tūhoi people.
Brave.
So every day you have to pull on that lineage, on those tupuna to
Yes.
get that courage.
Yes.
You're one of the most courageous men I think I've ever met, the dignity of you.
Thank you.
Rob, we will not let you live in your car. We will not let you worry about money. I'm going to ask every Kiwi who watches this to give $10 to you. At least $10. And if 1 million of us give $10, you're going to be okay. And that's what I'm asking for. This is not right. This is not right. And it cannot go on. And we need to look after you. So we'll open up an email address and we will ask for people who have ideas on ways to help you to send there, and that way we can filter them and then get them to you and your wife. Is there anything else you want to say to New Zealand today, Rob?
Yes, I just
You want to look down the camera?
I just want to say that it's time for us that are going through all this stuff, adverse reactions or similar, worse. Time for us to get together and unite. Time for us to stand. It's time for us to let our voices be heard. I may be unable to do stuff with my body, but I have a voice. We all have a voice. There's so many suffering out there. I done a live last week, thousands of hits, and there's thousands of people messaging and texting that they need help too. So this is my new walk of life. This is my new mahi. It's to stand and stand proud for all Kiwis, all New Zealanders. It's time for us to stand together and take on the bully. Kia ora.
In the midst of all your suffering, you're reaching out.
There is a saying in our Māori world, he aha te mea nui, he aha te mea nui o te ao, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. What is the greatest gift of all in this world? It is people, it is people, it is people. That's what I stand for, the people.
Thank you for this food. Alicia's body is the same. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lord. Big and blessed. Jug on. Drink some meat.
Kia tau, kia tātou katoa. Te ata whai o tō tātou ariki o ihu karaiti. Me te whiwhinga tahitanga ki te wairua tapu. Ake, ake, ake. Āmine.